So journal entries no, under the perpetual inventory system. Another example. So you have your perpetual no, versus your periodic. So NTPA's January 1 year 1 inventory consists of 1,000 units with a cost of $5 per unit. The following are NTPA's year 2 transaction. So noong April 1, you sold 600 inventory units for 4,800. On May 1, you purchased 250 inventory units for $5 in cash per unit. The year-end result of the physical count was 650 inventory units. The following are NTPA's journal entries under the perpetual and periodic system. Puntahan muna natin yung perpetual, no? On the left side, you're going to see that for the transaction on April 1, nagbenta ka. So you're supposed to, you're supposedly receive cash. So you have cash of 4,800, yung same price mo, and the credit to sales of 4,800. So wag natin kalimutan na alisin no, yung ating cost of goods sold. Sabi niya sa'yo that the cost per unit of the inventory is 5 pesos per unit. The assumption is that the 600 came from the 1,000 units with a cost of 5. And so alisin mo ngayon yung appropriate na cost of goods sold. So that's 600 units multiplied by 5, so that's 3,000. A debit to cost of goods sold of 3,000 and a credit to inventory of 3,000. So that's your entry for April 1. Ano ang entry mo sa periodic? Yung lang cash of 4,800 and the sales of 4,800. Yan. Let's go to the second transaction date, which is May 1, where you purchased 250 inventory units for $5 in cash per unit. Inventory at a cost of $5. 250 times 5, that's 1,250. A credit to cash of 1,250. Doon sa periodic system, doon siya sa temporary account na purchases. Doon siya sa temporary account na purchases. 1,250 and a credit to cash of 1,250. Let's see. Next page. Yan. Nag-physical count. Physical count. After the physical count on December 31, there is no journal entry needed because the physical count equals the amount of inventory on the books. 1,000 yung initial mo, nagbenta ka ng 600, bumili ka ng 250. Sinabi niya, di ba? 650. Ayan o. The year-end result of the physical count was 650. So for the perpetual system, no journal entry is necessary. So you see, the cost of your beginning inventory is valued at 5,000 plus the purchases of the inventory during the period, which is 1,250. Ito yung 250 times 5. And the ending inventory of 3,250, your cost of goods sold was 3,000. Ito siya, di ba? Cost of goods sold, 3,000. What happens under the periodic system? Under the periodic system, you're going to have a journal entry. At year-end, ang natira sa'yo ay 650 units. 650 units, and this is valued at $5 per unit. So that's effectively inventory, a debit to inventory of 3,250. Yan. Ang ginawa kasi dito, yung difference, which is why you're going to see cost of goods sold different because winner back ito. So, nag-debit muna siya ng inventory at 3,250. Remember that at the start of the year, meron ka ng inventory na yung 5,000. Tapos bumili ka ng 1,250. So that's 6,250. Saan ngayon napunta yung 2,000? Kaya may marking dito na difference kasi ganun siya kinuha. 5,000 beginning inventory plus the purchases of 1,250. Ito yung key accounts na sinasabi ko sa inyo kanina. 6,250 less your ending inventory of 3,250. It must mean that the cost of goods sold is 3,000. Ito yung cost nung binenta natin. So, take note that the perpetual and periodic systems will have the same results. However, under the periodic system, the amounts of inventory and cost of goods sold are updated only at the end of the period after the physical count. Diba dito lang natin nakita yung cost of goods sold pala natin 3,000 in comparison sa perpetual system. Nung pagkabenta mo, i-record mo na yung in-update mo na yung cost of goods sold mo in your inventory account. Your choice of perpetual or periodic would depend on your industry, would depend on the goods that you are, of course, selling. Tsaka depende doon sa ano yung pinaka-appropriate doon sa business. So what is the total cost of goods sold available for sale and the cost of goods sold for a firm with $350,000 in beginning inventory and $400,000 in ending inventory for a period that also has a cost of goods acquired or produced of 607. Sige nga, you try. What is the cost of goods available for sale and the cost of goods sold for a firm with 350 in the beginning inventory and 400,000 in the ending inventory for a period that also had a cost of goods acquired and produced of 6,700. So, ang magsisimula, no? Beginning balance of 350. Bumili ka, 670. Now you have total goods available for sale of 1,020. Tama, di ba? 1,020 yung total goods available for sale mo. Tapos, we know that you have ending inventory of 400,000. So, that's 1,020 is 400,000 would give you cost of goods sold of 620. Answer, 620. Beginning inventory, January 1. You add your purchases to give your total cost of goods available for sale. If you remove your ending inventory, you get your cost of goods sold during year. Normally, problems with inventory, ganito lang siya usually. We have to squeeze yung values. Sometimes, it can go as far as you start from the raw materials hanggang doon sa iyong cost of goods sold. Are you good with this? Can I get a thumbs up if you're good with this one? Okay. Dali lang naman siya, no? Inventory period and physical count is necessary both for perpetual and periodic. So let's be familiar with the terms, no, in transit, FOB shipping point or FOB destination. This is freight on board. Shipping point or freight on board destination. Pag sinabi niyang FOB shipping point, the buyer to include the cost sa kanyang inventory. Kasi ibig sabihin nun, ikaw ang nagbayad. No? Say for example, ako yung buyer. It's FOB shipping point, you're the seller. If it's shipping point, from the point na shinip siya, I would be liable for the cost. I would be liable for the inventory. And so, I must include it in my inventory cost. If it's FOB destination, si seller ang magdadagdag ng cost sa kanya inventory up until the point of destination. So, hanggang makarating sa'yo, ako pa rin ang mag-record if I am the seller. The point is ownership transfer. Kung sinabi mo kasi FOB shipping point, the ownership would transfer to the buyer as soon as the shipment departs from the seller. Sa FOB destination, yung transfer, nangyayari siya kapag dumating na siya or the shipment arrives to the buyer. Ang goods on consignment pinahawak sa'yo is an arrangement where the goods are left with the third party for them to sell. So normally, if it's on consignment, parang meron lang portion yung consignee, yung consignee doon sa goods pag nabenta niya. But since it is on consignment, hindi dapat siya i-include as part of inventory ng consignor. Yung consignor pa rin, kung kanino pa rin siya. Halimbawa ako, magpapakonsign ako sa inyo ng expensive bags. That's still part of my inventory. Kahit na nasa iyo siya, because you're holding it for sale for me. So, usually, we do consignment because this arrangement can be very low commission, there's this low time investment. This is a low time investment way of selling items or services. Usually then we know that consignment would involve yun, mga bags, jewelry, clothing. So maganda rin yung consignment kapag wala kang physical store. So it's a workaround if you're going to possess any physical store or an online marketplace where you're selling your goods. So again, your consignee would not recognize the consigned inventory as an asset in their balance sheet because they do not own it. In fact, yung consignee mo would have to recognize a liability for the amount or the value of the goods consigned. Na this is payable upon the sale of the inventory. Tapos doon na rin papasok yung recording ng iyong fee or commission for the consignment services. So again, this is never recorded in the consignees. In fact, meron siyang liability sa value ng kinonsign mo sa kanya. Example. So you have NTTA's December 31 year 1 warehouse inventory physical count. Results in the amount of inventory of $50,000. So you have the following information regarding year-end inventory. So you have NTTA consigned goods with a total cost of $60,000 to Entity B. The annual statement that was sent from Entity B to B states that 60% of the consignment goods were sold for $42,000. 60%. Right. Merchandising cost $40,000 FOB shipping point from a vendor on December 29 year 1 and was received by Entity A on January 4. So tatanong niya sa'yo magkano yung inventory. Merchandise costing $70,000 shipped FOB destination from a vendor on December 30 year 1 and was received by the Entity A on January 5. The goods billed to the customer FOB shipping destination on December 27 year 1 had a cost of $25,000. The goods were shipped by Entity A on December 28 year 1 and were received by the customer on January 5. In December 31 year 1 balance sheet, Entity A reports an inventory amount of $139,000. So what is the composition? What is the composition of your inventory? Number one is the warehouse inventory physical count resulted in an inventory amount of $50,000. So yun yung worth ng inventory sa warehouse. You are the consignor, no? You are the consignor, ikaw yung nag-consign kay Entity. So, the consigned goods will still form part of your inventory. Ang sabi niya sa'yo, 60% was sold. Actually, ang 60% din, ang 60% ng 60 was 40 to 40. So, yung difference niya na 24, naka-consign pa kay Entity. But again, ang magre-record na ng goods would be Entity A. So, dun sa unsold portion of the consigned goods, which is 24,000. Yung bullet number 2, FOB shipping point from the vendor on December 31 ay dapat mo siyang isama kahit kailan mo pa siya na-receive. Diba? Kasi yung date of shipment mo 29. Sabi natin if it's shipping point from the time na shinip niya, sa'yo na yun. So, the title and the risk passed to Entity A on December 31, which is why the 40,000 would have to be included in your inventory. Ito naman, the third bullet, merchandise costing $70,000 shipped FOB destination from a vendor on December 30, year 1 and was received by Entity A on January 5, year 2 ay hindi sa iyo, hindi siya sa iyo. The fourth bullet, the goods billed to the customer FOB destination on December 27 at a cost of. Yung third, hindi pa sa'yo yun, no? Hindi sa'yo, FOB destination. Hindi siya isasama at December 30. But, at the end of year 2, that should be included sa iyo. But for year 1, no, not yet. Fourth bullet, the goods billed to the customer's FOB destination on December 37 costing 25,000. The goods were shipped by entity on December 28. Kahit na-receive mo pa siya noong January 3, yung goods mo as of December 30, sa'yo na siya. As of actually December 27, point of, the goods were shipped by entity A on December 28, year 1. So it's in transit, no? It's in transit. The goods shipped FOB destination to customer. Title and risk of loss will pass to the customer only on January 3, year 2. Pero sa'yo na yung goods na yun. Sa'yo na yung goods na yun. You have to add the cost of 25,000. And so as of December 31, year 1, your inventory balance must be 139,000. So ang hindi mo lang sinama dito is yung third bullet, no, yung 70,000, tsaka yung sold portion of the consigned goods. Okay. Estimating your inventory. Okay, so estimates of inventory may be required kailan if it's impractical to get a precise inventory count. Your auditors need an estimate in connection with the periodic review of your financial statements. Your inventory got destroyed in some catastrophe. So there's two methods of estimating your inventory, the gross profit method and your retail. Pag gross profit method, yung estimation mo gagamit ka ng historical gross profit percentage. Siyempre kasi you can use the previous, no, based on previous information. Can be used to derive an estimate of any inventory. Pag retail method, you use the cost of retail prices. So you use the cost to retail ratio, the retail for sales. So pag hindi feasible, yung gross profit method kasi, tawag dito, ginagamit siya kapag the physical inventory or the physical count or the physical inventory is not feasible. Katulad mo, kaya na-mention niya dito na the inventory destroyed in some catastrophe like a fire. So again, the gross profit method, gamitin mo yung information from previous data. For the retail method, gamitin mo yung retail prices. Okay. Example, gross profit method. A retailer needs to estimate ending inventory for quarterly reporting purposes. The firm's best estimate of the gross percentage is its historical rate of 25%. The following additional information is available. So you were given information on net sales, you have purchases, beginning, inventory. Best estimate. Okay. Beginning inventory, 800,000. Given then ang purchases mo of 300,000. So your goods available for sale ay 1,100,000. Based on best estimate of gross percentage, yung historical rate mo ay 25%. So this is based on net sales. 1 million multiplied by your 25%, which is your historical rate. 250. So your cost of goods sold would now be stand at 700. Ending inventory mo ay 300. So ibibigay niya sa'yo. Or kung hindi niya ibibigay sa'yo, bibigyan ka niya ng information for you to compute yung trend. Like for example, sabihin niya na in the last 3 years or in the last 5 years, ganito yung rate. Sabi niya gamitin mo ng average. Pwede din yun. Or pwedeng bigyan ka niya ng last year, 25%. So this year, it is assumed na 25%. Yung sinasabi ko kanina, sabihin niya sa'yo na in the last 3 years, ganito yung rate nila. Could use the average. Or in the last 5 years, ganito yung rate nila. Pero mas prevalent ganito. So, you just follow, no? You just follow kung ano yung binigay niya sa'yo. But for our concern sa ating gross profit method, bibigay niya sa iyo yung historical rate at 25% this instance. Okay, this is quite easy, no? Quite easy. Retail method, this should only be, so I guess walang example yun. Meron. Should only be used when there is a clear relationship between the price at which your merchandise is purchased from the wholesaler. Kasi nga, di ba, ang basis mo is the retail price. So there should be a relationship. And the price at which it is sold to the customer. So for example, if a clothing store marks up every item it sells by 100% of the retail price, it would accurately use the retail inventory items kasi blanket. Kung halimbawa, lahat ng goods natin dito sa ating store ay pag ibibenta natin siya, ang markup natin sa kanya ay 100%, you can use the retail. Ang mahirap doon, pagkahati. For example, may items na 20%, items na 35%, and yung items ay 67%. It can be pretty difficult to use the retail inventory. Pero pag blanket, it's not okay. Pero kung magkakaiba, so pag i-apply mo din siya, iba-iba. Paano kapag ikaw ay isang malaking grocery, ikaw ay isang malaking department store na marami kang items. So it's time consuming. It's time consuming. You can. It's time consuming. Do you have any questions at this point? Kung meron later, no? Kung meron later, please feel free. We are at the essay. Okay. Ambit. Ambit. Ambit Incorporated, a manufacturer of high-value integrated control devices, became a publicly owned company through an initial public offering less than 2 years ago. The company had been a privately held firm for over 15 years and has retained its senior management team. The CEO recommended to the CFO that they hire an assistant to prepare the additional reports required if a public company, rather than continue to rely on the outside accounting firm that has been preparing them since the IPO. Wayne Grant, who has experience preparing SEC filings, was hired 6 months ago to fill this role and reports to the CFO. On July 3, Grant prepared the quarterly reports for the period ending June 30 with information from the sales and accounting departments. Ambit treats sales and administrative expenses as period expenses, and these expenses average about 14% of sales. So we are also given parts of the statement. May copy ba kayo dito? Do you need time to take this down? Or are we good? Okay, see. So this is your income statement and your partial balance sheet. I'm assuming you have a copy. So, okay, income from operations, 2,580,000. Partial balance sheet would show us your total current assets of 4,660,883. And total current liabilities at 2,893. That's the question. Hindi pa. On July 4, Grant learned from the shipping supervisor that a large order of control devices scheduled to ship June 28 would not be ready until July 6 due to unauthorized work stoppage by the production machinists. Later in the same day, Grant learned that the manager for the sales department had included the sale in the June 30 report because the work stoppage was not authorized by the machinist union and therefore was beyond their control. The revenue reported for this sale was $1,250 with an associated cost of goods sold of $715,000. With this information, Grant determined that he should change the reports he prepared for the period. He discussed the situation with the CFO. The CFO refused to consider the change, explaining that persistent earnings growth is a primary driver of share price. And with Ambit shares trading at a price-earnings ratio of 22, the share price would likely fall even though there was no real problem in the auction. The CFO stated that although production delays were not common, they had occasionally occurred throughout his years with Ambit and that it was not a big deal. Ang tanong, should the large shipment originally scheduled for June 20 be included in Ambit's June 30 income statement? You have to explain your answer. Assuming Grant revises the reports to exclude the sale from the period, calculate the revised income from operations for the period ending June 30, describe the changes that would be made to Ambit's June 30 balance sheet, and explain how the revisions will impact Ambit's cash flow. Paano natin to sasagutin? For the question number 1, should the large shipment originally scheduled for June 28 be included in Ambit's June 30? Sabi natin, when you are a manufacturing company, no, you would usually recognize revenue when the product is already delivered. So, ang tanong mo, was the product delivered during the delivery? So, itong large na shipment na to, yan, no, it would not be ready. Scheduled to be shipped on June 28 will not be ready on July 6 due to unauthorized work stoppage. So, if you take it like that, then ibig sabihin, the product was not delivered during the period. So, kung hindi siya na-deliver ng period na yan, dapat mo bang i-recognize yung revenue niyan? Hindi din. The reason for the delay also in the delivery has no bearing doon sa whether i-recognize mo ba siya na revenue or not. Kasi kahit ano ba yung reason, basta ang sabi sa revenue recognition natin, when the product is delivered, we recognize the revenue. When it is not delivered, we do not recognize the revenue, regardless of the reason for the delay. So yun usually we recognize the revenue when the product is delivered. In this instance, hindi na-deliver yung product. So the revenue cannot recognize during this period, and the reason for the delay in the delivery has no bearing on the timing of the recognition. Calculate the revised income from operations from the period ending June 30. Natin. 1,250. The revenue reported for this sale was 1,250,000. Tama, di ba? And with an associated cost of goods sold of 750. Magkano yung net adjustment? 1,250, that's 715,000 would give you 535,000. So the 535,000 would then be an adjustment to your income from operations. Pag in-apply mo kasi yung changes niya, your income, your net profit or the income from operations would actually be around suggested 1,983,000. Ito. Unofficial answers. Ito yung sinasabi natin for number 1, no, the revenue recognition, do not recognize. Yung letter A na question, which is revised income. No, ito siya. Yung 1,250 na sale, the entry for the cost of goods sold will decrease by 715. So magre-recognize ka ng net adjustment of 535. If you plug the changes doon sa kanyang statement of operations, your income will be 1,982,400. So the selling expenses and administrative expenses are period expenses. Ito yung nandun sa problem kanina na 14% siya, diba sinabi? The selling expenses and administration expenses are period expenses and therefore are not affected by the timing of the sale. Accounts receivable, the next question was, describe the changes that would be made to Ambit's June 30 balance sheet. Yung kanyang accounts receivable would decrease by 1,028,444. Saan nang galing yun? Ito ko sa inyo. Yung change, no? Yung change niya na total current assets of 4,616. Sorry, 883 minus yung 1,250,000 yung sale na hindi mo dapat i-recognize. So ito na, 4,616,880 minus 1,250,000 revenue na ni-recognize niya. Your accounts receivable will decrease by the difference. So that's 2,278,444 times 1,250. It's 1,028,444. And your inventory also will change by the associated cost of goods sold of 750,000. Tama ba? Tama. No? Yan. Letter C. The question, explain how the revisions will impact your cash flow statement. The income statement change will be accompanied by changes in the inventory and accounts receivable entries in the balance sheet by 1,028,444 and 715. The cash flow statement entries for changes in inventory and changes in accounts receivable will be altered, as with the net income entry if using the indirect method to construct the statement. And the entries to your income taxes payable will also be altered because there is going to be a change in your net profit. These are the unofficial answers. I'll give you, would you like to take a break now so you can take note of these answers? Or if you have a copy of this one, we can move forward. No? Yeah, actually mahaba to, no? Ang naalala ko nung, when I took the exams, it was about over 10 years ago. You have to be really, no, number one is that you have to be really ready. You have to be really ready for it. Ako kasi, ang technique ko nun, I would go directly doon sa question. I would go directly to the question para alam ko kung anong information ang relevant. Para makita ko kung ano yung kailangan ko na makukuha ko doon sa text, doon sa mismong problem. Para hindi masyadong kalat. Kasi ang mahirap doon sa i-take down mo lahat muna ng kanyang maubos yung oras mo. Ako, I don't know what would work for you. But what worked for me is I went directly to the question and then I checked out ano yung mga required. Kasi as you look at the question, makikita mo, di ba, malalaman mo kung ano yung kailangan mong information, most especially pag malalaman mo kung ano yung kailangan mong information. And then, from there, you're able to answer. Meron kasing essay questions that do not require also a computation. For those types of questions, ang ginagawa ko naman doon, i-outline ko siya. Say for example, yung question sa akin, life cycle, I think it's the cycle. Tapos meron pang question about the sources of spontaneous cash. Ang ginawa ko doon, naglagay ako ng, in-outline ko siya, like for example, types of sources of spontaneous cash, like discounts, your SRA. Ilagay ko lahat nung matandaan ko. And then, dinescribe ko siya very briefly. Nung medyo marami pa akong time, naglagay ako ng example. Tapos nung medyo may konti pa akong time, nilagyan ko siya ng introduction na these are, or in-explain ko ng konti kung ano ang ibig sabihin ng spontaneous source of cash, bakit kailangan ng company ng spontaneous source of cash. So, unti-unti siyang nabuo. But what helped me there is in-outline ko muna siya para makita ko kaagad kung ano yung alam ko, ano yung hindi ko alam, saan ako mag-spend ng. But for problems like this one, na may computational siya, kasi ano yun fixed yun di ba? Fixed yung sagot nito. Ang ginagawa ko dito, unahin ko muna yung question para ma-pick out ko lang ano yung relevant information. I'd like to give you 5 minutes maybe to take down no, yung unofficial na answer. Or you like we can take the break now? Or we can take the break now? 15 minutes or 10 minutes? 15 minutes or, yeah. 15 minutes or 10 minutes so you can take this. So, 7:48. I'll leave it here as unofficial answers.